So this news just in, new concerns today actually about President Biden's health. We just learned that a Parkinson's expert has been visiting the White House in the past 8 months. 8 times in the past 8 months. That's according to White House visitor logs. We don't know why those visits actually happened, but it is coming as the president is facing growing calls to throw in the towel on his re-election bid with concerns over his health and cognitive ability. Biden says that he's not going anywhere, though, and that his campaign for a second term will continue in full force. Matter of fact, he put out this letter to Democrats just this morning saying, I am firmly committed to staying in this race, to running this race to the end, and to beating Donald Trump. Biden is under tremendous pressure right now since his disastrous debate performance just 2 weeks ago, a performance the president just chalked up to being a bad night. Biden telling Morning Joe, though, that he has defied the conventional wisdom before, and he'll do it again. Take a listen.
They're big names, but I don't care what those big names think. They're wrong in 2020. They're wrong in 2022 about the red wave. They're wrong in 2024. And come out with me. Watch people react. You make a judgment.
So the latest 538 national polling average still showing Biden trailing former President Donald Trump by a smidge. Joining me now, senior White House correspondent Selena Wang, also senior reporter Catherine Falders. So, Selena, let's start with you. What do we know about this Parkinson's expert visiting the White House 8 times in 8 months?
Yeah, Kira, still a lot of questions about this. We know that there were 8 visits between the span of last July and this March. This is according to public logs that are available online about White House visitors. But as you say, Kira, we do not know exactly why he was visiting the White House. The White House will only say, quote, a wide variety of specialists from the Walter Reed system visit the White House complex to treat thousands of military personnel who work on the grounds. So essentially, this doctor could have been here for a variety of reasons. We do not know if he was here to advise on the president's personal care. But we do know, according to a summary report released in February by the White House, that the president was seen by a neurologist and had shown no signs of Parkinson's. But of course, there is so much scrutiny on this, given all the questions about the president's mental fitness. President Biden, for his part, has said that he doesn't need to take a cognitive test, that his doctors have told him as well that he does not need to take one. The president defiant, saying that he takes a cognitive test every day doing this job. But of course, all of that not putting to bed all of the doubts about the president's mental fitness and acuity after that disastrous presidential debate.
You do wonder why he doesn't just take the test, though, Selena. Catherine, word is that House Democrats are now going to be meeting off the Hill at DNC headquarters tomorrow. Cell phones have been banned. What do you think this is all about?
Worried about leaks, Kira, and that meeting usually occurs here, and now it's off campus. So surely this is a topic that will come up tomorrow. We know that House Democrats have been talking about this privately behind the scenes, like that phone call we reported on over the weekend. Well, they'll continue those conversations tomorrow behind the scenes. We'll have to talk to those members after and see if we can get any information out of it. But the big question is, do the calls from Democrats on Biden to step aside grow as Congress now comes back to Capitol Hill? We'll be watching that on the House side. Of course, on the Senate as well, we know that there is a meeting among Democratic caucus tomorrow behind closed doors as well. That will also likely be a topic that will be discussed, Biden stepping aside in that meeting also, Kira.
And Selena, we also know the president had a call today with big major donors. Do we know anything more about that phone call? As you know, our John Carl said, looks like donors are getting cold feet with this continued concern about the president's possible cognitive decline.
Yeah, Kira, well, I was actually just speaking to a donor who was on that call, and this source tells me that the president was feisty and defiant during this call. He said he's not going anywhere and, quote, I'm going to beat Donald Trump, I promise you. The president really said he wants to move beyond his terrible debate performance. He wants to move past it. He says it's time to move on, and it's time to, quote, put the political bullseye on Trump. The president saying that Donald Trump is only 3 years younger than him. It is time for them to coalesce around that. Now, the source who was on the call also told me that someone on the call asked the president how he's going to prepare differently for the next debate in September, what he's going to do differently. The president's response was attack attack, attack. Now, a source who was on this call told me that it lasted about 25 minutes. It didn't sound like the president was reading from a script. It sounded off the cuff, this person says, also adding that he took about a handful, about 4 questions from the donors on the call afterwards. There was some frustration from the folks who were on this call, I'm told, that the president didn't show this more fiery self during the actual debate. For some donors, they feel a little bit reassured by this. For others and for other Democratic allies, they really believe at this point there's nothing the president can do to turn around his image, despite the campaign and the White House pushing the president out in the public more in the coming days.
So, Catherine, while you're up there on the Hill, are lawmakers saying anything now about this reporting that just came out about this Parkinson's expert visiting the White House 8 times in 8 months?
You know, Kira, they're not yet, at least not that I've seen. It's a difficult day up here on Mondays on Capitol Hill, or when members of Congress fly in. So we haven't really been able to talk to many of them. That will happen later in the day, but I'm sure there will be statements that are being released from members of Congress, of course, as this news hits their inboxes. And of course, we will catch them in person later this evening. Kira.
All right, stay tuned. Selena, Catherine, thank you both so much.